Hello there programs, today we are going to be diving behind the scenes of the enigmatic Queen's Gambit. So before we get started, here are some crazy statistics about the show. When it debuted, 62 million households watched the show. That's 1.8 billion minutes watched worldwide. Chess set sales went up by 87%. Chess-related books went up by 603%. Alongside that, Google queries about chess went up by also 567% since the show debuted. Chess.com registered 12.2 million new players since the show debuted, which is an absolutely crazy effect that a show can have on a population. And the message of the show, of a game that's dominated by men without trying to push some kind of agenda, is that women are very capable, if not even more superior to their male counterparts in many ways. Now I'm really here to talk about the VFX behind Queen's Gambit, which were very special. They were created by John Mangia and the Chicken Bone VFX Studios. And our first memorable sequence when Beth gets high on tranquilizers and envisions the chessboard on her ceiling. Now, it's not a particularly difficult VFX shot to do, but they composited so well. And the idea behind it is very clever, to get us into the mind of this character, to see just how complex her mind is and just how crazy the game of chess can be. A very well crafted and well constructed VFX shot in any scene that you see it in within the show. But to me, after watching a lot of the scenes over and over, the most important element of Queen Gambit was the environments. And this is where the effects of Queen's Gambit really come to life. I mean, it's shot between the 1950s and the 1970s, which is one of my favorite eras, by the way. And all that old school retro neon and the 50s architecture was incredibly well put together. From the scene of the old Vegas, which was literally a shot of an empty desert, which they filled with custom Vegas buildings from the 50s and 60s, using that old school style of fonts on the signage, to the architecture of the time was masterfully composited and overlaid. A great example of this is when she's in the Aztec Palace and it zooms out to show you the full city. That is all generated and it is so meticulously thought out. A lot of the background imagery was also entirely generated throughout the show to truly sell where and when she was. But everything you see in the film had to be from that timeline. Whether they were walking in the streets or driving in a car, it all had to be modeled and rendered to fit that timeline. And let me just say, I scoured through that show to find any modern era cars or any kind of modern era elements that would break that illusion. And let me just say, there was none of it. They did a truly outstanding job of creating everything to fit into the timeline. I mean, you're talking about the planes and even how they graded it. Never had you questioning that it was shot in modern times. Now, aside from all that, we know that chess isn't exactly the most exciting game in the world, but they use some very clever VFX tools and shots to kind of get us to imagine what chess would be like through a professional chess player's eyes. They use these time-lapse shots of this kind of VFX scene with chess players moving really fast, and that is a really clever way to keep us on the edge of our seats in a long-winded and very complex game. And that is why the VFX in Queen's Gambit are so special, because they are subtle, they are immersive, so much so that we never even question them. Even though they are heavily stylized, they are indistinguishable from reality, which is exactly why Queen's Gambit is a masterclass of VFX. And finally, I don't think we need to mention about Anya Taylor-Joy and how spectacular she was in the role, because without her, I don't think Queen's Gambit would have been as good. Thank you so much for watching, guys. A massive thank you to everyone who has supported my channel. I didn't actually think I would ever get to 1,000 subscribers, and it's all because of you guys. I am forever humbled, and I really thank you guys a lot. I'm hoping I can get to 10,000, 100,000, a million, and keep making the content you guys want to see. It's Rooza here. I will catch you guys on the next level.